A new issue is forming from the Ron Killings situation, so we'll see what that's all about. We'll also check out what's going on with Bayley, Jey Uso, and more. Starting things off with this new fear and issue that stems from the return of Ron Killings. The entire Ron Killings situation is something that became one of the hottest stories in all of pro wrestling in recent weeks. A beloved WWE superstar and legend like him gets released, and then the company informs him that they have no interest in signing him to a new deal. They probably figured that he's an aging 53-year-old superstar. Everyone would forget about him and move on quickly, so that's why they let him go. But the fan response and outrage to Ron's release was out of this world and something that no one expected to see. There's been a lot of major unexpected WWE releases in recent memory, but not a single one of those releases caused such a roar and uprising the way Ron's did. It was something so unique and something that has not been seen before, and it took WWE just 1 week before reaching a new deal with Ron Killings to bring him back because of this demand from the fans. But there are some reports out there that claim Ron's return is causing a big issue and fear amongst the higher-ups. Although Ron's return is great to see and is a feel-good moment, reports claim that the higher-ups are scared that they might have just set a trend that if the fans aren't happy with a certain release, they can just hijack shows and demand for the individual to be brought back, just like with the Ron Killings situation. They're fearful that fans could just start thinking, well, we saved Ron Killings, let's use our voice and save this person now. So that's the issue that's apparently going on there. They want it to be known that they listened to what the fans wanted and delivered Ron Killings. But at the same time, they don't want to put all the power in the fans' hands, that they start to feel like they can bring back anyone whenever they're not happy with a release. So that is a tricky situation there for sure, because next time there's a big release, everyone's going to bring up the situation with Ron Killings and try to recreate it. That's just bound to happen. So things could get hectic here, but we won't know exactly how that will unfold until another big unexpected release happens again. For the first time in nearly 2 months, Bayley made her return to WWE. Bayley was last seen just 24 hours before WrestleMania 41 when she was suddenly attacked and destroyed backstage. That led to Bayley missing WrestleMania at the last second, and Becky Lynch filled in her spot. And barely a few weeks after that, Becky Lynch said that she wasn't going to let people make speculations and guesses about Bayley's attacker, so she fully confessed to attacking Bayley right there during that promo segment. And for being a heel, Becky's explanation for attacking Bayley was pretty valid. Becky mentioned how Bayley turned heel in 2019 by brutally attacking Becky Lynch with a chair out of nowhere. Then in 2022, Bayley and Damage Control beat up Becky Lynch backstage and wrote her off television for several months. So there's been several instances where Bayley wrongfully attacked Becky Lynch unexpectedly. So even though Bayley is a babyface in current day, you gotta admit that she had it coming. Her actions from the past can't just be erased because she turned babyface. She still has to pay for her sins of her heel runs from all those years ago. And we saw something similar with Bayley and Bianca Belair. Even though Bayley turned babyface, it took Bianca nearly forever to trust Bayley because of those horrible things Bayley did to Bianca in the past. So a similar situation here, but instead of Becky being hesitant of trusting Bayley, Becky decided to instead just straight up get the jump on Bayley and give her a taste of her own medicine by attacking her out of nowhere before WrestleMania. So is Becky wrong for that action? Not really. It's just Becky getting some extreme delayed revenge on Bayley. But after sitting on the shelf for 2 months and seeing Becky steal the Intercontinental title away from Lyra, Bayley finally returned to Raw to unexpectedly beat down Becky Lynch and pay her back for that pre-WrestleMania beatdown. And as everyone expected, it's looking like we'll finally in fact see Becky versus Bayley in a big feud over the summer for the Women's Intercontinental title. Those are two very big names that will surely bring even more eyes to the Intercontinental title and elevate it immensely. It'll also be interesting to see how Lyra fits into this feud between Becky and Bayley, because Lyra is a former champion that got screwed and robbed out of her title by Becky Lynch. So you gotta figure that Lyra wants a rematch for her title, but now Bayley is gunning for Becky and the title as well. So will Bayley and Lyra either bond over their like-minded mission to get revenge on Becky Lynch, or will they collide and ruin their own friendship there? A lot of fans are excited for this feud, mostly on Bayley's behalf, because it's exactly what she needed. Last time Bayley had an extremely memorable feud, had to be the breakup of Damage Control back in 2024. Ever since then, Bayley hasn't been a part of a major feud. Her character didn't really have a spark or goal to achieve, but now she has all those things in place. She needs to get her hands on Becky Lynch. The Intercontinental title is right there within reach. You got the whole dynamic with Lyra. There is finally a lot of a solid story around Bayley again. So fans are hoping that this feud and storyline puts Bayley back on the map in a big way. Sort of like what we saw with this recent feud has done for Lyra. Prior to Becky's return, Lyra was never given the microphone. Her title was barely defended and seen. But thanks to this feud with Becky Lynch, Lyra started getting more microphone time, started showcasing more personality, and even though she no longer has the title, Lyra still exits the feud as a winner, and even as a bigger star. So fans are hoping for a similar outcome for Bayley. Hopefully the feud with Becky gets Bayley back on the microphone and back showcasing all of her talents in a major way on a big stage with this storyline. Jey Uso's reign as a world champion in WWE has ended at just over 50 days. And even though the world title may be gone, big things are allegedly still on the horizon for Jey Uso. There's rumors circulating that a reunion with the Usos is what's planned for Jey in the back half of 2025. The Usos did reunite for one night during the road to WrestleMania 41, and they were on the same team for War Games in 2024, but Jimmy and Jey have not properly been together as a tag team since summer of 2023. So quickly approaching the 2-year anniversary since the Usos had initially split up. And it looks like they're getting back together here in the near future. It's a bit difficult to see where this reunion might fully take place, since one brother is on Raw and the other one's on SmackDown. But there's an interesting tag team dynamic going on in both divisions. Raw has the New Day as champions, and they obviously have a lot of prior history with the Usos. So reigniting that classic feud between those two teams is an exciting route. Then on SmackDown, there's a massive story going on right now where all the teams are trying to unite against the threat of the Wyatts. So the Usos could be some great manpower for that battle. And like we discussed the other day, another individual who is needed of some backup is Roman Reigns. If Roman is returning and coming after Seth Rollins, maybe it wouldn't be that bad of an idea if Roman convinced Jimmy and Jey to join him in that battle as well. So there's a lot of exciting options and routes for a potential reunion for the Usos in 2025. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.